Hello, everybody. Welcome to Complex Simplicities, the podcast where I just be talking about because I've yet to find my niche, but that's okay. Nevertheless, whether you're here for a good time or a long time is up to you. But I'm your host, Kylee Simone, and I got some shit to say, so tune in. On today's episode 3, I will be discussing the death of childhood. What I mean by the death of childhood is that transitory period between young adulthood and adulthood. That's essentially that phase of life that I'll be discussing. I turned 20, what month is it? August? It's September. It's at the time of filming, it's September 2nd. So I turned 20 like on June 22nd, and I graduated high school almost 3 years ago. And I said that out loud the other day, and baby, when I tell you I felt old, oh my God, the feelings of existentialism ran rampant in my head that day. I was just thinking about all the life that I've lived and all the life that I have yet to live. And I just got a little, like I just said, existential, because it's like, I've been a baby my entire life. And now that I'm finally an adult, I'm a baby all over again because I'm relearning and learning life for what it is. Your people can only teach you so much. You don't know shit about real life until you get there. You feel me? So as I take on this journey of adulthood with the death of my childhood, I've really learned that I do not know anything. Everything that I thought I knew was a lie. Everything that I thought I knew to be true was a scam. And I didn't have my head in the sand. I'm not an idiot or nothing. But life has this odd way of humbling you. It's nirvanic yet humbling in a sense. It's just like being thrown into a bath of freezing cold water. Just a strong wake-up call. And ain't nothing wrong with that. Everybody need a little wake-up call. But I've always thought of myself to have, I've always thought that I've had great self-awareness. And I still find that to be true. However, self-awareness can only get you so far in this way of life. You know what I mean? You don't know life until you live life. And I've always been told I've been here before. So the claim is true. I've known that I've always had a heightened sense of self-awareness. I was that baby that was told that they've been here before. But, like I've been saying, life is very humbling. I've been here before, but I don't remember what I did. So I have to relearn and reteach and reparent myself, which is fine, but it's a lot. Don't get me wrong. Nobody said it will be easy. I'm not saying that. Nobody said it will be easy in the slightest. Life is one of the longest yet shortest things that you will do. The year of 2020, I think, like whenever COVID was going on, like 2019, 2020, 2021, that whole year, it was like a fever dream. Like I was raised Christian and I adopted said beliefs, but I was always, I never really claimed Christianity to be my own because I felt like I didn't understand enough of the religion to call myself Christian. I just associated with Christianity because that's what my family believed. But in 2019, 2020, like everybody else, I went through a spiritual awakening, as the internet likes to call it. Around that time, I was really into like tarot and crystals and astrology and just, shadow work and shit like that. The stuff that's popular. And I began to realize that healing is hard. It's hard, but it's fun. But healing is hard. And I also adopted this like false misconception that healing is this thing that you just do in the now. Like it's just a one-time thing and you're done. But no, healing is lifelong. Healing is a lifelong journey. And I just want to say to anybody who's in that transitory period between adolescence and adulthood, whenever you become an adult per se, you're going to be doing a lot of relearning and a lot of reteaching if you're in tune with your consciousness. So with that being said, don't be afraid. Fear not, It will be difficult, but it's going to be a lifelong journey. Don't think because you are in the process of fixing one thing, everything else will be fine. No, that's not how healing works. And I'm only saying that because that's how I thought healing worked. But healing is like, I don't even know a good metaphor for it, but healing to me is a lifelong ongoing process. Like once you start healing one thing, you're going to have to heal another and another and another and another. And things continue to reveal themselves. It's not a bad thing. It may feel overwhelming initially because you feel like you can't grasp onto anything. You can't do anything right. But baby, it's the process. Just trust the process. Trust the healing process. Everything will be okay in the end. But yeah, I just wanted to say that because I felt very called to say that a lot of people don't really discuss the most like difficult parts of being an adult. Like for example, being an adult to me, like everybody's like, oh, you got to pay bills. Da, da, da. Bills ain't the thing that's hard for me as an adult. For me, what's difficult as an adult is cleaning up my apartment every day. Cooking for myself. It's things like that nobody really talks about. So that's why I want to like open up the open up the room, open up the studio, and just let y'all know that there are a lot of things within adulthood that you wouldn't even consider thinking about as like a teenager or like a young adult. But I just want to let you know that it is difficult. It is very difficult unless you are unless you've already had the, or unless you have a foundation. Let me say that. Unless you have a foundation, it is a little more difficult to transition into adulthood, you know? I unfortunately did not have the best of foundations. Me and my mom went through this period where we didn't talk for like a year and a half, 2 years. But now I'm building my foundation back up. I'm not doing it alone because I'm also going to let you in on another secret. You can't do it alone. No matter how bad you think you're independent, no matter how bad you don't want to rely on nobody else for help, you can't do it alone. You have to have a community, or you don't have to have a community, but having a community or having somebody to talk to or look to while you're in the transitory period between adolescence and adulthood, it really helps. Whether it be a friend, whether it be a parent, whether it be a partner, it helps to have somebody to talk to. I used to firmly and strongly believe that I didn't need nobody. Like I didn't need nobody for help. But I was the youngest child. And I mean, not the youngest. I was the oldest child out of my mom's group of kids, and I've always been very independent. I've always felt like I've never needed anybody, but in reality, everybody needs somebody. So if you do think that you don't need nobody, you can take on this journey by yourself. Good luck. More power to you. It's difficult. If you feel like you can do it, kudos to you. But I'm letting you know now, if you find a community, or if you find just somebody to talk to, or if you find an outlet, it makes everything, excuse the vehicle, it makes everything so much more easier, not only to heal, but to take on this lovely journey that we like to call life. So yeah, RIP childhood, you know? Also, I was having a moment with my man on the couch the other night, and I do this thing where I get extremely existential, like I said, like about 3 times now. And I was just like laying on his chest on the couch. I was like, oh. I wasn't crying, but I was like, I don't want to die. I don't want you to die either. I don't want my grandma to die. I don't want my mom to die. I don't want my sister to die. I don't want my brother. I don't want nobody to die. And I prefer that, you know, we all die at the same time. You know, like we all agree on a good age where we all get to, and we all just at the same time. You know, God forbid we get in an accident, or, you know, we get sick or anything like that. Excuse me. I just feel like it'd be best for me if we all die. Because, you know, the only thing guaranteed in life is death. You know, some people like to throw in taxes, but no, death is literally the only thing that's guaranteed to you in life. So I'm not Delulu where I think that I'm above death, but I don't like the fact that getting older and becoming like an adult, another thing about becoming an adult is like realizing that everybody has to go. You know, it all has to end one day, unfortunately. When you're a kid, you don't think about death. You probably can't even conceptualize what the hell death even is. I know I could up into a certain extent, but you fully can't grasp the depth of what death is. You feel me? So with that being said, like another hard part of adulting for me is realizing that everybody that I love will die someday. And I try not to think about it in that life, but that's the reality of it. Like my grandma's 79, my papa, he's almost 80. And just the mere thought that I have to live this life without them one day really hurts my soul. So that's why I like to, you know, shift my perspective, because life is all about perspective and the way you view things. So rather than thinking about, oh, I don't want my grandma to die, I don't want my mom to die, I don't want my papa to die, I think about the moments that we've had in the past that I've enjoyed. And I think about the moments that I have left to create with them. Life is about birth and rebirth. Everything, what comes must grow, must go. Birth and rebirth, all that fun stuff, you know, energy is neither created nor destroyed. So that's another kind of relieving fact that's another relieving thing for me when I think about death, you know, the fact that energy is neither created nor destroyed. So whenever somebody that I do love or care about, unfortunately has to pass on to the next life or to another life, their energy is just being transferred into a different thing. You feel me? And that's a little more relieving. Like I said, life is all about perspectives and shifting the way you think about things and view things. So another tip that I have for the young adults out there is change your perspective. Also your perspective. Think really deeply and really strongly about the way that you are viewing life and that the way that you are viewing things. And also think about the things that you've been instilled with as a youngin'. Is it in your highest good? Is it serving you any good purpose? Is it like serving you? Is it what you truly believe, or is it what you've been forced to believe, you know? So like I said, adulting is just a lot of learning and relearning and unlearning and reteaching and just all that fun stuff, you know? So don't get too overwhelmed. It is a little hard, but you can do it. If I can do it, You can do it. I'm a grown woman now. Like I've always thought that I was grown because I was always so mature. And like I said, I was the oldest out of my mom's group of kids. So I've always been relatively mature, as the old folks like to say, for my age. But as I begin to actually age, I realized that, baby, you were just a baby. You feel me? Like I said in the beginning of the podcast, I thought that I was grown, but I really was not grown. And part of that's because our good friend Trauma, but we're not talking about her today. I'm making space for me today. We're not talking about her today. But yeah, a lot of adulting for me, another thing is really realizing that all of the things, like I said, I thought I knew, I don't know. And one of those things being, as mature as you think you are, you're not that girl, baby. You're not that girl. And let me be the first to tell you, I'm going to be the first, probably won't be the last, but you're not that girl. I'm going to expose myself here a little bit. When I was in middle school, all the older dudes wanted to talk to me. And I was already aware that they don't want nothing but one thing, the punani. They just want the punani. And they weren't getting that from me because my mama raised me better than that. Like I said, me and my mama, we went through some stuff, but she ain't raised no fucking dummy. She ain't raised no dummy. They wanted the punani and I knew that, but they weren't getting that from me. But I still was entertaining myself. And I was like, oh, well, the older dudes like me. It still kind of gassed me up a little bit because I was like, oh, the older dudes like me. But baby, them like anything walking. You ain't even got to walk. As long as you got something warm and gushy between them legs, they're going to like you. So I say that to say, for all like the teenagers watching this or like the younger kids, I hope no kids are watching this, but for all like the younger like teenagers or older teenagers watching this, you think you're old and grown, and life and experiences have this way of shaping people to believe that they are actually older than they really are, but you are not. You're very young. So don't let life or don't let your experiences prohibit you from experiencing life to the fullest extent. Like I thought that like, oh, life is so hard because I've been through X, Y, and Z. And, I've just already been through so much. Like I'm grown now. I know everything, but I don't. I still have so much to learn. And like I said, I'm a grown woman. Nobody can tell me, but still I have so much to learn. And that's another beautiful thing about life. Life is an everlasting process of learning. And I'm ready to take on a journey. I love learning. Like for all you astrology girls, I have a ninth house stellium, and baby, I love me some knowledge. As far as being grown, obviously I can seek like discipleship or mentorship, but ultimately like my life from here on out is up to me. Like my people gave me the tools that they could as much as possible. You feel me? But they can only prepare you for so much. They can't give you everything. They can only drop little gems of knowledge because experience is the best teacher. The fact that my life's destiny is ultimately up to me, it can be perceived as overwhelming sometimes depending on my state of mind or my mood. But ultimately, it's very humbling and freeing and nirvanic for me. I don't know about everybody else, but for me, it's very freeing to know that my destiny from here on out is up to me. Obviously, I can't control everything. However, the things that I can't control, I will control. I have this issue where I fight tooth and nail to gain, to gain like recognition, but and get blessings and things like that. Like I go out of my way to be like nice, but I always have like this ulterior motive, like, oh, I'm doing this so I can get blessings. But it's like, girl, relax. Blessings are going to come. Blessings are going to go. A blessing will fall in your lap, but just don't like solely focus on doing things just for the sake of a blessing, and that kind of leads me to my next point. I know that was kind of like weird or out of place, but that leads me to my next point. Like, don't do things because your family or the people or your circle wants you to do these things. I am not qualified in the slightest to tell you what you can and can't do, but I can tell you what I am and ain't gonna do. I'm not gonna sit up here and listen to all these people tell me what I should and shan't be doing, because I have my own life. They had theirs. They had their chance to live theirs. Now it's mine. I'm going to live my life for me to the fullest extent, because I don't want to look in 10 years have passed and I regret not doing X, Y, and Z. Because I already look at my Google Photos every day when I get a notification. About 10 years ago, I was like, 10 years ago, I thought I was grown. 10 years ago, I was 9, thinking I was fucking 20, But now that I'm 20, it's like, babe, slow down. But I just say that to say, live your life for you. Everybody who wants you to do this and that, they've already had their chance. They didn't take it, or they may have. And a lot of people or I know I can't speak for everybody, but you have to look at somebody's motive. Like if it's your mom, obviously she's not telling you to go to college because she wants to be an asshole. She's telling you to go to college because she thinks that's what's best for you. But I'm here to tell you that you may or may not believe it, but ultimately in the end, you know what's best for you. You can listen to advice and seek you can seek advice from other people, but ultimately at the end, you know what's best for you. Like you really just have to tap in with yourself and really just like become one and become in alignment with who you are to fully find those answers, because everything that you need is within you. All the questions that you have, the answers are within. You don't have to seek anything externally. Like I said, advice may help, but ultimately all the answers are here, right? And I just say that because I see a lot of people live their lives through what their parents or their grandparents or their aunts and uncles want them to do. But I'm not doing that. I love you, Mom. But I'm going to be going to the military. No, ma'am, Pam. I will not be going to the military. So, yeah, like my family, I'm going to speak on me, for example. My family, it's not really even my family. My mom, she wants me to do all these things. She wants me to be a doctor or a phlebotomist or a vet. And baby, I don't want to do that. And, like I said, I'm young, so I have a lot to learn. So the elders in my family, at least, they're not going to steer me in the wrong direction for nothing. But I'm a little hard-headed, and not necessarily even hard-headed. I just want to do what I want to do. Like, life is too short to be listening to your mama at 20. Like, mama, I love you, girl, but I'm not going to listen to you. Like, I'm not going to sit up here and listen to you all the time. Like, I love you, thank you, but I'm not. No. And I don't know if that's just like me being rebellious. I don't know what that is, but I've just never been the one to like stay on course. Like I've always been a little shout out to that ninth house stellium. I just feel like there's more to life than listening to your parents. Take that with a grain of salt. But I feel like there is a lot more to life for me, at least, than to join the service and get all these benefits and da-da-da-da-da. No, man, Pam. I literally just quit my job with benefits. They paid for your school. Okay, look, they paid for your school. They gave you benefits. You can get a gym membership for like $13 depending on what gym you want to, bi-weekly. I was getting paid $17 an hour, but my soul and my spirit was not comfortable there. And I'm not like Delulu, where any external logic, I just put on the noise canceling headphones and I'm just do. That's not what that is, babe. It's just me knowing that I want more for myself and knowing that my spirit won't tell me nothing wrong, My spirit wasn't sitting right with that place. It was too much. The work was too laborious. The management was ghetto, and I use that very consciously. The managers were ghetto. And the people that I was working with, they was all a whole lot older than me. And everybody was always complaining about something. It's like, baby, you're 32 with 2 kids. Why are you worried about the 21-year-old not doing her job? You come here to do your job. Why are you worried about somebody else not doing their job? Because it's not affecting yours. You know what I mean? And that's just not a place that I wanted to be. I couldn't see myself doing that any longer than I did. I started in May and I ended my tenure in August. You see, very brief. Because I already went through a previous employment experience with my father. And I vowed to myself to never stay where I'm uncomfortable. If you find yourself in constant cycles of uncomfort, obviously there's something that you need to fix within yourself. And I'm working on it. But you don't have to stay there if you don't want to. What sounds good on paper may not always be what's good for the soul or the spirit or just for you mentally. Like if you're not into the whole spiritual aspect, what's good on paper may not be good for your mental. Let's just keep it cute at that. So yeah, I quit. I submitted my 2. I'm not going to tell you how I quit because I don't want any future employers to see this, but I won't be employed in the future. I'm going to be working for me. I'm going to be an entrepreneur, And yeah, so I'm not going to tell you how I quit. But comment down below for story time. I'm just kidding. But yeah, I couldn't do that no more because the managers was doing too much. I found myself being unhappy a lot of the time, and you're in control of your happiness. And I was giving people power over me to dictate my life and to dictate my feelings and to just make me feel out of place. And like I said, ultimately it's up to me at the end. And I'm not going to sit up here and give nobody that power over me to make me feel less than great. So I vowed to myself to live life to the fullest extent every day. I may not do it every day, but I find that setting goals for myself and making a to-do list really helps with that. I'm getting off topic, but life is too short to be miserable. And a lot of those people at that job were miserable and they were trying to take me down with them, but I'm not sinking, baby. I'm a floater. Winner chicken dinner over here. You feel me? So yeah, I quit and I don't feel bad about it. I was working from 4 a.m. to 12:30 in the PM. And babe, I was tired. It sounds good. Like, oh, you work at 4 a.m. and you get off at 12:30. Yeah, your whole day ahead of you. Yeah, but baby, I'm trying to catch up on sleep. I didn't get nothing but 3 hours of sleep the last night. So, yeah, I just had to skedaddle. So yeah, I got on up out of there. There was a few people that I wanted to tell bye that I didn't get the chance to, but they'll be all right. They still gonna be there. It's been there 30 plus years. They're still gonna be there if I feel like going back and saying what's up to them. But nonetheless, I quit my job because I didn't feel comfortable. Obviously, I didn't just quit like, oh my God, I'm going to pursue social media because no, like you have to literally work for that. And I have yet to put in the effort and the time to do so. But I'm doing it now. But I got me a little part-time gig. I'm not telling y'all where, but I got me a little part-time gig. Yeah, I got me a little part-time job. And it's actually a part-time job that feels part-time. That last job that I just quit, it was part-time, but baby, it felt like full-time. Why does my part-time job feel full-time? No. Because now I feel obligated to you. And that's not what that is. I'm not obligated to nobody but Kylee Simone. Thank you. Okay. So yeah. But before I quit, I didn't just like, oh, quit so I can make YouTube videos talking about how I quit my job. I really put a lot of mental thought into my decision. Because I'm very like, I'm gray. I'm like living in the gray area, but I'm very like black and white about certain things, you know? And that was one thing that I was black and white about. Because I was making $17 an hour and baby, I got rents I has to pay. And the job that I'm working at now, I'm getting paid a lot less, but it's not even a lot less because I was part-time at the other spot that felt full-time. But on paper, it looks like less, but when you do the math, it's more. You know, I'm spiritually satisfied. I'm mentally fine. Money is still going to be coming in because money comes, money goes. My man, he still got a job. So I was just worrying about that I shouldn't even be worrying about because the universe is going to make a way. Baby, you believe in yourself. And whatever higher power you believe in as well is going to help you get through what you got to get through with. All right. So I just say that to say, don't stick in places that you're not uncomfortable. Tune into the last episode where I talked about me being a quitter. Tune into that episode. I'll talk, or I discuss more on that topic on that episode. So tune in. Period. So the next topic of discussion, I really don't know how to like transition with the podcast topics. So bear with me. But the next topic, it's really like, it kind of plays into the last one, you know, where I was talking about like quitting and not staying in spaces where you don't feel comfortable at. Tune into the last podcast episode, like I said. But whenever like older folks ask me like, oh, what do you want to do for a career? Because like when I tell somebody that I'm 20 or that I just graduated a few years ago, they're like, oh, what do you want to do with your life? What do you want to do with your life? I don't know. What do you want to do with yours? Why are you in my business? I don't have any goals in life. I just have ideals and I'm going to live my life through my ideals. And I be saying that because I genuinely don't know what I want out of life, but that's fine because life is all about learning. Literally, the meaning to life is absolutely nothing. Like there are so many philosophers that discuss the idea of like nothingness, essentially, like is existing literally means nothing. Like we're literally just here for nothing at all. But like, since nothing matters, baby, do what you want to do. If nothing matters, do what the fuck you want to do. Like nothing matters, so that means everything matters. But nothing matters, so that means nothing matters. So live your life. Like, so that's why when like older folks ask me what I want to do, I be like, I tell him, I don't know. Or I lie and say I want to go to school or join the service. Bitch, I don't want to do that. I'm just telling you that so you can get the fuck up out my face. I know they mean well. But in the face of, let's say, strangers or people that I don't fuck with, baby, I don't have to tell you anything. I don't owe you anything. So I'm not going to give you anything. I don't tell nobody Nathaniels, baby. I don't tell nobody Nathaniels but my man. And I be talking to my mama too, because that's my girl. That's my girly pop or whatever. But the main reason why I really talk to my man about everything, for one, we live with each other. But two, he's created a space for me to like be unapologetically me. You know, I'm just me when I'm with him. And I'm not nobody else. Like with other people, I feel like I got to put on these certain masks and put on a front and be that girl that I'm not. But with him, it is what it is. You know, obviously not everybody's going to create that space for you as a human being, because if we lived in a utopia, I wouldn't even be talking about this. But curate that space for yourself. You know, I'm fortunate enough for my man to have created a second space for me, but I also have my own little space. I don't need no me. I'm just kidding. I also have my own space that I've curated for myself as well. Just curate your own space, because folks gonna be in your business for the rest of your life. So don't tell nobody nothing if you don't feel like telling nobody nothing, and that's just that on that. And that goes for family as well, because they're gonna be in your business too. And you gotta learn when to cállate la boca. You gotta learn when to shut up. You gotta learn when to be quiet. Because if you get to talk too much, you can potentially block your blessings, or you will start to manifest a spirit of doubt. Because I know a lot of the times when I would talk to older people, I would tell them certain things that I would like to do, or just hobbies that I had, and they'd be like, oh, well, that's not realistic. Well, working myself till I'm 65 isn't either. Just because you did it doesn't mean you should have. And a lot of like older people, it's not just older people, but in my experience, a lot of older people have this mindset like, oh, work hard, working hard is the only way to success. But baby, hard work isn't the only way to success. Working yourself to a grave isn't the only way to success. A 9-to-5, a 401k is not the only way to success. A military tenure is not the only way to success. Higher education is not the only way to success. First of all, how do you even define success? Let's start there. You must define your own version of success. Obviously, there's the literal definition, but life literally is fake. So make your own definition, find what you want to do and do that. Don't feel like you're forced to do things because people want you to do them. No, man, Pam, don't do that. That's like the quickest way to just live an unfulfilling life, just doing shit just because you're supposed to do, or just doing shit because you were taught to do that, just doing shit because that's what your mama wants you to do, doing shit because your man wants you to do that, doing shit because your woman wants you to do that. Do it because you want to do it. But ultimately, life is what you make it, Some people may perceive me as a Lulu. Some people may say my head is in the clouds. But literally, I'm 20 years old. I have nothing but time. I have a clean slate. So why not utilize that slate and do something with it, So that's why I just say live life, Of course, there's ramifications and there's consequences, and things are subject to happening. I'm not saying if you live your life to the fullest extent, you're going to get away with whatever the freak it is that you're doing. I'm just saying live your life for you. Because if not you, then who? Okay, then. I feel like I touched on every topic that I can think of. Like, I was just flowing today. Normally, I'd be like stuttering and looking at my notes and shit. I did good today. Okay. I did amazing today. So, let's sum up today's podcast. Live life to the fullest extent. Alter and change your perceptions of how you view certain things. When you start to feel yourself looking at like, oh, why is this happening to me? Why is this happening to me? Look at it as, oh, this is God, or this is the universe, or this is Jehovah, or whoever or whatever you believe in. This is nature's way of putting me through certain things and giving me a different learning experience. This is nature's way of teaching me. Shit gonna happen. Shit happens. I used to say everything happens for a reason. That may not be the case, but shit happens. Shit be happening. So considering the fact that shit happens, do the shit that you want to do. And with that being said, I'm your host, Kylee Simone. Thank you so much for tuning in to today's lovely episode. If you enjoyed this podcast, please leave a rating. And if you're tuning in on Spotify, please comment what you think. Because, there's this little update they have to where you can answer questions. Go ahead and answer the little questions throughout the video. If you're watching on YouTube, don't forget to leave a like and comment down below. Share with your friends. Subscribe. You feel me? And if you're watching on these platforms, sorry, I have to pull it up because I'm worldwide, baby. I'm international with it. I'm on every podcast platform. So if you are watching on, like I just mentioned, Spotify, YouTube, Apple Podcasts, leave a rating and a comment. But if you're watching anywhere else, such as Google Podcasts, Overcast, Amazon Music, iHeartRadio, Castbox, Pocket Cast, Radio Public, and Stitcher, I don't know if you can leave ratings on there, but go ahead and share. Share it, like it, follow me on, or follow us, join our journey on Instagram at Complex Simplicities Pod. Follow me on TikTok at Complex Simplicities Pod. Subscribe on the YouTube channel, Kylee Simone. But I still got a little section where I post all about the podcast, baby. But yeah, with all that being said, live your life for you. Life's too short for you to be mad. Life's too short for you to be sad. Be content. Find satisfactory with your life. Join our journey. Follow all the social media platforms that I have listed. I'm finna tune out because I have to turn my AC off when I make these podcast episodes, or you're gonna hear it running in the background. I live in Texas. It's like 100 degrees outside, and right now my apartment is 82. So I will see you lovely beings in the next episode. If you are a new listener, please consider coming back and listening again. Thank you so much for your time. And if you are a returning listener, Thank you so much for sticking with your girl. Let's build a community. I love y'all. Bye.